Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in this week's video I'm going to talk about how I've learned to enjoy summer photography, and I'm talking about daytime summer photography, not getting up at stupid o'clock for golden hour or staying out late into the evening. So the first thing I would say is it is really a question of mentality. You know, last year I first started coming out doing more summer photography, and that was a mind shift. So in the past I was looking out the window thinking, okay, I've got up late, I've missed golden hour, or too tired to go out in the evening, and I would just literally leave my camera in the bag pretty much for the whole of summer. So the change of mindset meant that I started looking for things that work in summer conditions. And at first I really thought that needs to be typically urban, and I moved away from coming out more into nature to do summer photography. This year I've completely changed again, and I've realized that actually coming out into rural conditions, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a classic scenario like this, but coming out into villages still gives me an opportunity to take good photos in summer conditions. So the other thing I need to talk about is editing. I have realized over the course of the last couple of years just how important editing is for summer photography. So last week I was in this exact location. We had a very kind of murky start, and then the sun came out, but we had lots of some nice clouds as well. And for the photos that I took on that day, I created a specific editing style in Lightroom. Now I appreciate some of you may not be editing your photos, but I do. So in Lightroom I created a very punchy look to that editing. You'll see from the photos today I've gone really strong with the colors, and I don't mind playing around with the colors because, you know, people always manipulate their photos, and honestly I could be taking black and white, which obviously is then eliminating the color, but I went really punchy. I appreciate it's not going to be everyone's taste, but that's fine because it's my editing style, it's not everyone else's editing style. And last year when I was doing urban photography, so going into cities, I created a different preset, and I really crushed those blacks and create a very pastel look to my photos. But with my change of mindset in terms of what I'm photographing during the day in summer this year, I decided that that look would not be great for the types of photos, hence why I've now created that different preset that I'm going to use throughout summer. So it doesn't mean to say that I'm coming out in the summer in any kind of weather to do photography. I am being selective. So for example, today I'm making the video, there's a few clouds around, nothing special, so I'm just doing the video, I'm not doing photography. However, I was in exactly the same location last week and the weather conditions were different. It was very murky and misty in the morning because we'd had some heavy overnight rain. And then the sun came out, there were some clouds, and it was much better conditions for photography. So you still need to keep an eye on really the weather and what the best conditions are. And I would definitely go for cloudier conditions. And the other thing, of course, is to still pick the right location. Now, as I said, I'm coming out into rural countryside locations, but I've got a nice mix. I've got some villages, I've got some small towns, I've got landscape in a more traditional sense of the word. Where I am now is quite a nice area. There's a lot of farming that goes on. So there is plenty of options there for things that I can photograph. So the other thing to consider also is what you are going to photograph, and to be more open-minded with that. Now, in the last video, I talked about how I think photography categories are irrelevant, and this applies in this scenario as well. So when I'm walking through this rural location with villages and farming and that traditional landscape, I'm looking for any possibilities. And in fact, there is also woodland here as well. And I've opened my mind up here also to starburst. Now, I'm generally not a fan of starburst photography in its kind of regular form. I think it's a little bit kind of passé, to be honest. But at 11 AM, I was walking through the woodland. There was a really interesting tree, and the sun was pretty high, but it was creating a starburst. In fact, I'm going to show you the photo after this video clip, but I did something different with the editing. And if you're interested, by the way, I think I shot it at f/22, but doing something different with the editing, I actually quite like the look of it. So have fun with your summer photography and also in developing your unique editing style for summer. As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.